Yo, what's up, guys? I'm here again, and this time I have brought a new deck, a big contender in the format right now, and it is Vanquish Soul. And the person who's gonna help me introduce the deck, because I'm not that familiar with the deck, is Wakas. Do you want to
Yeah,
introduce yourself,
hello.
Wakas?
Yeah, hello. My name is Orcust. I've been playing Vanquish Soul since it came out. It's my favorite deck. Yeah, I've taken it to UK Nationals. I took it 2 years ago. I made it to almost topped, but bubbled. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So happy to be here.
When I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I saw a cast on Vanquish Soul, and that was like a year ago. So this guy, I can vouch for him. He's stuck with the deck no matter what. He's stuck with the deck, that's for sure. And it just got new support. How excited are you for the new support?
When I saw that the new cards were coming out, I was so excited. I was literally on a bus to Manchester. I was like, I was so excited for the day, but then I saw the news, and like literally my day was made like right there. It's crazy. Holy Sue is cracks like beyond belief. It's really good. It's really good. Anyway,
The Vanquish Soul deck. So tell me, what's the starter? What we're playing as the three of in the deck?
right. Okay. So I think before we go into that, I'm just gonna do a brief overview about what Vanquish Soul actually is. So
Okay.
Vanquish Soul is a deck that is based primarily off of three main attributes: is fire, dark, and earth. So most of the cards in your deck are going to be monsters of fire, dark, and earth attributes. The aim of the game is to out-resource your opponent, to have infinite cards in hand, so you can reveal them for your Vanquish Soul effects. Uh, but the main cards, I guess you can start with the monsters. Three copies of Vanquish Soul Raisin. He
Okay.
was the GOAT. He still is the GOAT. Maybe Holy Sue's a little bit better now of a card. But he is one of your main starters. On summon, normal or special summon, he adds a non-warrior from your deck to your hand of non-warrior Vanquish Soul. Uh, and all of the Vanquish Souls, they all have different typing. So that means whenever one of them says non-warrior or non-psychic or non-fiend, that just means anything except another copy of itself. So that's Raisin. He's your best normal summon.
Mhm.
Maybe the next card is actually a bit better now. That is three copies of Dr. Madlove. Madlove, on normal or special, she adds a Vanquish Soul spell or trap. Before the support, there wasn't really a good target to add. Like it wasn't a starter. You could add continue or like Dust Devil or Snow Devil, but now uh, you add start. So wait, Vanquish Start is your field spell. Personally, I would only play one. We'll get to that later because we're starting with monsters at the moment. Um, or do you want to do it like just in any order? Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. No. Whatever's convenient.
Okay, I guess you can put in one copy of Vanquish Start.
Mhm.
So you might think like functional start it's a starter. It says start in the name. Why are you only playing one? Because it's not actually a one card starter. It needs another functional on the board because what you do is you activate it and then you target a functional you control, add one from the deck with a different attribute. So it doesn't work if you're not already with the functional on the board, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So it needs another one. Most people I've seen like play two. You think that's incorrect?
I don't think playing two is incorrect because this deck is pretty popular at the moment, and so people are using cards like Ghost Ogre or like any other way to out the field spell. Because I think in a mirror match, the way that you win is you stick the field spell first and you don't lose it. So having field spell access is good. One or two is fine. I wouldn't play three.
Okay. Okay. And then we've got. What other monsters have we got? That's a starter.
So the other starter is actually Stake Your Soul. It's not a one card starter, but you do play three of it. It's not searchable by Madlove or anything because it's not a Vanquish Soul name. It's not got Vanquish Soul in the name. But if you reveal a fire, you can special Raisin from your deck as long as you don't reveal Raisin from your hand.
Yeah.
And if you reveal a dark that's not Madlove, you can summon Madlove. Both of those are your starters. So Staking Soul is also a starter. So I guess technically the deck has 9 stars.
So it has 9 1 card starters.
I want to call them one card because each of them need another attribute in hand to combo.
Mm,
So, like with Raisin, you need a dark ideally. With Mudlove, you need a fire. And with Sticky Soul, you need either.
right. Okay. Okay. So but what this deck is like a 2 card combo deck, but this is like as close as it can come to as a 1 card starter, as close.
Yeah, so those 9 cards, not looking to start, those 9 cards are as close as you can get.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention to the starters is the new card, Vanquish Soul Holisu, or Holisu, I guess is what she's called now. And she's a starter in a very niche situation, but the good thing about her is that she can start on either player's turn. Right.
2 3 go.
So Functional Holisu says during the main phase, which is either main phase, either yours or your opponent's, you can reveal another Vanquish Soul in your hand, uh, and then you can summon Holisu from your hand. This is really good if you have both a fire and a dark in hand already, because what you can do is once the Vanquish Soul Holisu is on the board, you can reveal the fire and dark, and can special raise him from your deck. So this is really good because, but it doesn't have to be Raisin, but it's any non-psychic, which is usually going to be Raisin, because Raisin will then summon. He will search a non-warrior from your deck, and then Raisin can pop all monsters in his column by revealing a Fire and Dark, which is Raisin's quick effect, which, as you might notice, is the exact same condition as Holy Sue summon from deck. So if you're summoning with Holy Sue, you can always pop with Raisin, which means if your opponent, say, normal summons a Dormouse in the middle column or whatever column, you can use Holy Sue effect. You can reveal a Vanquish Soul in your hand. You can summon her in any column that is not the Dormouse column. Then you can use her effect to E-tally, well, special from deck. You can special the Raisin. You can use Raisin effect. In this case, if I don't have Caesar Valius access in my hand, I would search for Caesar Valius on the summon. And then once the summon has resolved and the search is resolved, you can use his quick effect. You reveal a Fire and Dark, destroy the Dormouse, so your opponent is down a card. And then, on the resolution of that, you can go Caesar Valius, target the Holy Sue, return it to the hand, because the Holy Sue's done its job now. Summon the Caesar Valius, and now you've got the Fire and Dark that you revealed to summon the Raisin in the first place. And you've got Holy Sue in hand, which is all 3 attributes, which then fulfills the criteria for Caesar Valius pop. So that sort of one little interaction on your opponent's turn uh, gives you 2 pops, which makes your opponent lose 2 cards of card advantage, and also gives you +2 more cards of card advantage because you search for Raisin, and you also search for Caesar.
So this card basically gives the deck a new layer. Also gives you like a way to play on your opponent's turn. This card
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like a custom card for the deck.
yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. This was the card that I was most excited for. When I saw the support, I was like, Start is nice, but this card is mental. Like I was saying to my friends, our locals, I was like, yeah, Start is what we needed, but Holy Suit is what we need to like keep up with the map.
Yeah.
So
So Holy Suit and the fact that the synergy is so nice, it's like fire and dark also meets the requirement of Raisin, which then also meets the requirement of Caesar Valius. So like it was intended to play like this, the interaction.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
Whilst we're on the topic of Caesar Vallis, um, there are 2 cards in the Vanquish Soul sort of archetype that have a quick effect to target a Vanquish Soul with a different type to them, return that one to the hand, and then summon themselves. And these are Heavy Borger and Caesar Vallis.
And how many do you
Now,
play each?
personally, I play 3 Borger and 1 Vallis,
Okay.
and sort of, I don't think there's any incorrect number of these guys to play. I think maybe the most incorrect thing you could do is play 3 Valius, because the Earth attribute is the least valuable. What I mean by that is Holy Sue has 2 effects. One of them is to E-tally from deck, and the other one is to steal a monster your opponent controls. Both of those effects need dark, so it's like fire and dark for the E-Tele, and earth and dark for the steel. So like dark is one of your more valuable attributes. Your earth effects are less powerful and less common. Um, so personally, I play three of the dark and one of the earth. Also, I like Heavy Borger is such a good tempo card. It has two really, really good effects. One of them is reveal a dark to just draw a card. Either plays turn quick effect. So you draw two cards sort of every cycle of turns. And the other effect comes up a lot in like time or like if you just can't get lethal on a board because you only really need to hit your opponent for 5,000 because your Borger can burn for 1,500 each turn. So that's 8k. So yeah, three Borgo, one Caesar. That's my personal preference.
So Bargo's
But
like
you can't really go wrong with it.
a lot of utility to the deck. It gives a like a lot of advantage.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So and
Yeah.
what else are you playing as for monsters?
So the final monster we're playing is Jano, the level 5 fire. She's probably like the wild card. She, sorry, I'm not sure of the gender of Xiaolong. You can decide that by yourself. But yeah, actually play three Xiaolong at the moment. So the reason I play three is because the fire attribute, like the dark attribute, is a very important attribute for Vanquish Soul. And the quality of sort of fire cards in general in the Yu-Gi-Oh card pool is not as high as the dark ones. If you think about it, like for darks, you've got Bestials, DD Crow, Phantasme, Shifter, like all these good dark cards. And Ash really is the only fire that is worth playing in like every deck. Uh, there's no Fire Mulchami or anything, so there are a couple of other options you can play if you're lacking fires. We'll talk about that later. But personally, I think Zhang is a really good card because she's, a free extender if you use a Vanquish Soul effect um, to reveal a Vanquish Soul card. On the resolution of that effect, you can use Zhang effect in hand to special, um, which is, another body. And it can be good if you're going into rank 5 players, which will definitely come up, especially post K9. But also, Zhanong has a couple of cool effects. The main one is you reveal two fires in hand, and you can search for any Vanquish Soul card. It's like Raisin in a way, but it's not on summon. It's just when you reveal. So if you have two fires in hand, you can basically get into uh, anything you want, and it's both players' turns, so it kind of cascades really quickly. And also, it might not come up as much now, but back in Tenpai format, the effect to change the bar position of a monster came up a lot. Same with Yubel, like they wanted to attack me with their Yubel or whatever. I could change the battle position. It was really good. Yeah, but I think three genre for now is really good. You could probably play one, two, or three, but personally, I play three.
Hmm. So let's go over the cards that you opt to not play. Pantera and
Mhm.
Pluton. I don't know. I know Pantera and I don't know Pluton, but why would or would you not play these?
Okay, so Pantera, like I like Pantera. I've always liked Pantera. She was really good. Back in before we had the support, because she's a free body. So if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you can just spec her from hand. Um, so just having that free body is really nice. Like back in the day, we used to make a rank 4 players to get to King Dempsey. King Dempsey would then unsummon add Raisin from deck to hand. So that was really good. But I feel like the deck is really it's not as consistent as it could be. Like it could always be more consistent. But I think the individual card quality of playing Pantera just is not where it needs to be to justify playing it at the moment. Like I've been testing it. Obviously, since the fall came out, I've been playing this deck at locals and like online and stuff. I've been playing with and without her, and I just feel like there's never really like I never really want her in my hand. Um, I'd rather just have any other card. Like I said before, the Earth card quality is sorry, not the Earth card quality. The Earth sort of Vanquish Soul effects are not that good. So like having her as an Earth doesn't really come up that much. And you've already got Holy Sue, you got Caesar. You're gonna have some other non-engine that Earth, so that doesn't really come up. One of the good things about her, well, is that she can destroy, like Raisin, she can reveal Earth Fire to destroy a all back row in her column, so all spells and traps. And this came up a lot when there were cards like Nightmare Pain in the format, but these days, like Rise of Cross is your main like spell trap issue, and that's a field spell, so you can't pop that. So overall, I don't think she's worth playing, but I wouldn't think, uh, you if you feel like you want to play one Pantera, I don't think that's a problem.
Okay.
So yeah, that's Pantera.
And in terms of what else in terms of the engine, any spells or traps in the deck that we play?
Just before we go on to that, actually, I just want to briefly touch on Pluton.
Oh,
Pluton's
Pluton.
shit. Like,
Oh shit.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry, bro. Pluton is so bad. We used to play Pluton before we had Zalong, just as a one-off, but it's literally like it's a 0/0 that can sometimes be Millennium Shield, and maybe some even rarer, it can be Blue Eyes White Dragon. But attack and defense does not matter. Like in this day and age, 2025 Yu-Gi-Oh, uh, it never gets to the point where these stats really matter.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, unfortunate for Pluton, it just does not come up. Um, yeah,
He's a fire though. You might need him.
he is a fire, but this is why you play three genres. Currently in my list, I think I'm on 10 fires, which I feel like is enough.
Okay. Okay. So that's all the monsters in the main deck. Any spells or traps
Yeah,
we play in the main deck?
yeah. So I've already mentioned Star and Stake Your Soul. They're the main cards that you want to play, but Vanquish Star has a very useful third effect, which is during the end phase, if you control two or more Vanquish Souls, you can set a Vanquish Soul trap from your deck. So you just get a free trap just by playing. You always end on more than one Vanquish Soul. So it's almost always live. Um, and the best target is 100% Vanquish Soul Snow Devil. So you play one copy of that.
Okay.
So this card is crazy. And it's a trap card that says reveal one of each attribute by Dark Earth up to. So you don't have to have all of them in hand to use it. But the more you have, the better the effects are because you get to use them all in sequence. So the first effect is you pay. So your opponent takes 400 damage, and then you can special a Vanquish Soul from hand. The second effect is your opponent takes 600 damage, and your Vanquish Soul monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects this turn. Specifically, your Vanquish Soul monsters, and it applies for the whole turn. So it's not just the ones that you currently have on board. It's just any Vanquish Souls that will be under your control cannot be destroyed by card effects this turn. And then the third effect is probably the best effect, and it works in tandem with the second effect, which is your opponent takes 800 damage. So in total, they've taken 1800 from just this trap activating, and you're revealing three attributes. And also, all monsters on the field are destroyed. And if you notice, the wording of the card says apply these effects in sequence. So you've
Yeah.
already applied the previous effects before you destroy all monsters in the field, which means your Vanquish Soul monsters cannot be destroyed by this effect. So essentially, it's like a Rageki on your opponent's turn. The one caveat is usually you have Rock of the Vanquisher on the field. Rock of the Vanquisher is not a Vanquish Soul monster, so it will die. But you try and use this trap after you've used Rock of the Vanquisher, or you activate the trap and then you chain Rock of the Vanquisher, so you get your use out of it before
Right.
you
Okay.
kill it off.
So you always sequence correctly. Always use rock first, then the trap.
Yeah, this entire deck is about sequencing correctly. If you sequence incorrectly, you will notice a massive fall off in the potential of what you could be doing. Yeah.
Okay. So is that all that we're playing in terms of the core in the main deck?
I do want to give a special shout out to two other cards, which is one of them is Functional Dust Devil. I really like Dust Devil actually, but I was testing it. It didn't make the cut, but it might be added back to the deck if I feel like it's worth it. Essentially, what it is it's a quick play spell. You can target a functional you control, change its battle position, and then for every functional monster you control, I believe there's different names. I'm not sure. You can non-targeting change monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. This is really good against something like Malice. Again, the normal Dormouse, you chain this, you book a moon it. It's really good because Malice needs to establish bodies on the board in order to play, and face down bodies cannot be linked off. Therefore, it's really good at stopping them. It just comes up a lot. Like your opponent might have a Baguska. You can. Well, actually, I'm not sure that would work actually because you can't change bar position on a monster and the Baguska. But you know what I mean. Like there's lots of
Yeah.
things, like lingering things. Maybe like a I don't know Majesty's Fiend or something you need to get rid of,
And
and this really helps.
cards like Kashtira cards as well, Book of Moonit before they use the
Yeah.
effect. So it can come up. It
Mhm.
can come up. But you think it didn't make the cut for now?
I think for now it doesn't make the cut. I think if it was a top card, you might play it because you could set it off of the start field spell, but start only sets traps, doesn't set spells. So unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way.
Okay.
You could probably side it, but I think when you're siding into this level, you don't really want to. You would rather have any other card. I'll explain my thought process with the side deck a bit later. But yeah, that's
Okay.
one card that I think is good, but we don't play. You can play it. I'm not gonna think anything if you do play it. Like that's up to you. But
Okay.
personally, I wouldn't. The one other card I want to talk about is Vanquish Soul Continue. This was, I think, the first. Yeah, it came out with in Wild Survivors with this level, and it was probably because it was before Snow Devil, it was the best target for Madlove. Essentially, it's just Monster Reborn. Pay 500, revive a Vanquish Soul from your graveyard, different target, specials in defense, or you can add it to your hand if you prefer. It comes up sometimes, but at the moment, I don't think it's good enough.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And we also play one rotor because it searches raisin.
Yes, we play one rota. I have seen people asking in Vanquish Soul communities if we cut rota because they lose this to draw. Uh, at that point, you might as well cut your whole deck because it all loses to draw. So no, we still play rota.
Okay. So is that for the main engine? That's the main engine.
I would also say the pot cards could be considered main engine because you just want to. So like I mentioned at the beginning, you only really have 9 stars, right? 9 proper stars that you also need another card for. So it's quite hard to always have a way to play. So personally, at the moment, I'm only playing one copy of Prosperity because I feel like it's the best one.
Mhm.
You could also play a couple of copies of Extravagance. I wouldn't play Desires because you could banish cards like your one of Trap or your one of Field Spell. But there are also options. Yeah. So personally, at the moment, I'm playing one Prosperity, and that's it.
Oh, one prosperity. Okay. 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 So that's the engine. What are we
Yes.
playing for the non-engine? The non-engine for this deck has to be very specific. So what are you
Yes.
playing for the attributes?
Okay. So I would say one of the best cards to play at the moment, and probably since it's come out, is Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. One of the main reasons to play at the moment is because every deck is playing multiple Mulchamis. You don't really lose to Mulchamis. I'll explain when we get to like the test hands, but ideally you only summon 4 times every turn. Uh, you might summon a bit more on your opponent's turn, but on your turn, you only really summon 4 times. So you can give your opponent either 2 Perulia draws or 2 Foolers draws. Um, but still, it's still good to have like if you think if I ask them, they're not going to get 2 draws, then it could be worth doing. Um, but also sometimes it's just good to keep the ash in your hand and use it as a reveal for your Vanquish Souls when they need to reveal a fire. So yeah, Ash is probably the best fire card to play um, for hand traps. There are a couple of board breakers that are good that are fire. I'll get into in a minute.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Ash Blossom for a hand trap.
Okay. What else are you playing?
So some people in the community don't think this card is that good right now, but I really like it, and that is 2 copies of Ghost Bell.
And why do you think Bell? Why?
So Bell is really good. Like it's really good into decks like Mitsurugi, into Malice, into Onomot Risefield is now a thing when they try and revive the Gargara Coat, I think it's called, from the graveyard. That it can
Yeah.
stop that. Bell comes up a lot. Like it's almost as useful as Ash. The only difference is it doesn't stop Charmies. but it's still applicable almost globally to every deck in some way, shape, or form. And it's still not fully expected. Like people, when they're playing, usually think, "Oh my opponent's used Ash. I'm playing this many summons, so I'm not going to lose to Nibiru." But then they might just lose to a Bell. Like it happens. I think Bell, and also in combination with another card that I think you should add to the list, is two copies of DD Crow. What have we done there?
DD Crow.
Yeah, so two copies of DD Crow, pretty similar to Bell, really. If your opponent, for example, tributes a Murakumo with prayers or something, you can crow it so that it loses its ability to activate to search and summon itself because it's changed location since it was tributed. Uh, Crow is good against you know a lot of different decks. It's almost as universally applicable as Bell. I think it's slightly less, has slightly less use cases, but it's an infinitely better attribute. Um, you don't like not all your non-engine needs to be attributes, but you need to have a sufficient number of each attribute in order to do things. Uh, so Bell is played because we actually play the least amount of Earth attributes. You still want to have a few, because it does come up. It just comes up less. And Crow is it's a decent card, not as good as Bell in my opinion at the moment, but it's a much better attribute. So also Crow is almost for 10, which is nice.
Crow is that one's button. That is true. But no, these cards. These cards. I feel like Crow is good. It hits Mermail as well, and it
Yeah.
hits like non-light and dark decks as well.
hmm
It also hits the
Yeah,
mirror.
like
It also hits the mirror match when you go Vanquish Rock to add back. You can hit
yeah,
Raisin.
I was gonna say that one of the best things you can do in the mirror match is when your opponent tries to add raisin back with the rock, you can crow it and it's gone. It's you really need access to raisin at all times. Because like you want it in your hand so you can summon it off rock or you can reveal it as a fire. If you lose that fire, it's really bad. Yeah, so crow is really good. Another card in a similar vein, or a set of cards, I guess, is the Bestials. I would play at least one Mag Wondrous and maybe a couple. I don't actually play any, but you could play Baldric. But one Mag Wondrous is almost mandatory. Um, you know, Fiendsmith still exists. Again, with the same thing with the Mitsurugi cards. Sometimes enough Bestials and banishing out of a Malice player's graveyard, as counterintuitive as it sounds, sometimes it's just enough if you have the correct combination. You're not going to win a game because you drew one Bestial, but especially Magnuma is really good. Obviously, it searches a dragon in the end phase. This includes Season of Alias. So if you need like that Earth in your hand at the end of the turn, or you just need Caesar access, that's one way of getting it. Um, so yeah, I definitely play those cards.
Hmm. And what else are we considering for non-engine?
So this is less of a Vanquish Soul thing and more of a current meta thing. I think you have to play triple Fua, triple Droll at the moment in the main. It's not great, but like you just have to do it in my opinion. What do you think?
I agree. I think Fu and Roll, especially with the Vanquish Soul non-engine, which is like quite weak. Like no one's turn is gonna end with one Ash or one Bell, maybe in combination.
Mhm.
But Fu and Droll might just end their turn. I feel like these cards are too strong not to play.
Yeah, 100%. Like you could side them, and that's an option. But at the moment, I think for me at least, I'm seeing success by maining them.
And we've got
Uh,
two more cards. What would you consider for your Vanquish Soul deck?
okay, there's a lot of cards, right? But at the moment, my two cards are Kurikara, one copy of it. You could play more. A lot of OCG lists currently play one. I don't see why that is the case. Like, I would play more if I could. I don't actually own three LT Kurikaras. I don't want to play mismatching ones. But yeah, I would play Kurikara 100%. It's really good fire. It wins the mirror match instantly. You don't show your opponent it until like they've used everything, and you cannot dodge a Kurikara summon. You Kurikara the guys are gone. They can't tag out, and you basically win. Uh, really good against Lunalight, which is a very um, sort of up and coming strategy that is expected a lot. If you can tribute the Liger Dancer after it's used its effect, it's really good for you. You have a big Kurikara as well, because I imagine they've used other effects. Yeah, Kurikara is really good. Now, the other options are currently I actually main a call by because as much as like Droll doesn't always kill you, it does sometimes really hurt getting Drolls like on normal summon. So I play call by in the main.
Hmm.
But it could be any other card. You could play not a Drift, I'm sorry, a Baldrake. You could play Dogeron the Kaiju, which is another one, another option. Um, yeah, but
Fair
yeah, at the
enough.
moment I'm playing call by. So
That makes sense. That makes sense. So that's your main deck. What are you
yes,
playing in the extra deck? I believe I already know one of them, and that is
yeah,
Rock. That's at 3.
yes, yes. It's at three at the moment, but it will be at two very soon probably.
And we obviously got a new card, which is Vanquish Soul Rocks. How many do you play of these?
Yes. Uh, it's a this is yeah an interesting card. At first, I thought this card really sucked. But actually, after like testing with it a little bit and seeing like the situations where it does come up, it's actually not too bad. So I do play one. I play one Vanquish Soul Rocks. Um, so if the way this card works is if it first of all, it's a rank 4, so it takes two level 4s, but no one ever makes it like that. You're not going to make it like that. What the way you will actually summon it is it has an alternate summoning condition, which is if a Vanquish Soul monster battle this turn, you can overlay on top of any Vanquish Soul or Rocket the Vanquisher. So this comes up in multiple ways. If the effect doesn't really matter, it does have an interesting effect where if you detach an Earth from it, you can destroy a card on the field, just like Caesar. So what you can do is, say, on your turn, when you're able to attack, make Caesar pop something, attack, and then overlay rocks on top of Caesar, pop again. So you get two pops. It's pretty decent. But the other thing you can do with it is it allows you to link climb with Rock of the Vanquisher. So if you read Rock of the Vanquisher, you'll see the first line of text says cannot be used as link material, right? Which means once you've got that in the EMZ, usually there's no way to get rid of it unless like it's popped by Raisin or something.
Yeah.
But with this, you can attack, you can overlay the rocks on top of the Rock of the Vanquisher, and then you can link the rocks away because there's nothing stopping you from using it as link material. So you can, for example, make dark um, just by the charmer dies,
Hmm.
just by overlaying your rock on top of your rock and then linking that away to make dark and maybe steal a Murakumo or something, which comes up. Um, so yeah, the other card I do play is dark.
Okay.
Um, and then I play Nightmare Phoenix because I played it since day one Vanquish, so it's really easy to get it co-linked because Rock the Vanquisher points down, so you can pop a card and draw. Be careful that you don't get ashed if you do that because the whole effect can be ashed since you can draw for Phoenix. But yeah, Phoenix is just generally good. I also play SP. This also allows you to uh, it's easier to make SP now because you can turn your Rock the Vanquisher into a rock and then link that off to make SP. And because you use extra deck monster, you get the SP banish as well, which is good. Um, and then it's either Blacklist Soldier and I don't know what it's called, the Link Tree, or Underworld Goddess. This is an answer to Lunalight specifically.
SP, and then you also
Yep.
play Underworld Goddess and BLS, Blackluster Soldier.
So I would play one or the other. At the moment, I'm currently playing Blacklist Soldier.
Okay.
The reason is both of these cards kind of do the same job, which is to deal with cards like Liger Dancer in the Lunar Line matchup. Which so if you don't know what BLS does, everyone knows what Underworld Goddess does. Really, you have to stick 4 monsters on the board, and then you use your 4 monsters and one of your opponent's monsters. You make Underworld Goddess, and that's it. But I actually really like BLS because if you make it with a level 7 or higher, which is quite common because you have Borga and you have Caesar, and you also one card in the side deck you might. used to make it. If you make it with a level 7 or higher, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and I believe it cannot be targeted. Is that
Kind of
what it says?
target. Yeah, you can opponent cannot target it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that just makes it not be able to be blown up by Liger Dancer, right?
Mhm.
So you usually swing that BLS into your opponent's Baguska because they will have a Baguska as well, and
Mhm.
then use this effect to increase this attack to make it 45. And they can't really deal with that, so you can kind of just sit on it and then kill them next turn, sort of thing. Um, so
And
yeah,
how
that's one of the main reasons I play that card.
and how's it been for you in testing? Has it been good?
I would say I haven't had enough times where it's come up, but that's just a theory. Like
Mhm.
that's why I play it in case it does come up. But yeah, I'll have to report back once I've tested a bit more with it.
Fair enough. And what else are you playing in the side deck? In the extra deck.
Speaking of Baguska,
Are you playing
you can make it
Baguska?
yourself. It's pretty easy to put 2 level 4s on the board.
Mhm.
Um, I'm thinking off the top of my head here. What else do I play? Um, oh, okay. So I play the Nash Knight package. Um, so Nash Knight is a rank 5, which comes up because you now have 2 level 5s, Xiaolong and Holisu. Um, Now, I haven't had the opportunity to use it as much as I want, but in theory, like this card's cracked, right? It's a quick
Yeah.
effect. Um, you can attach one number from 101 to 107 from your extra deck to it, and then you can also attach another monster in the field to it as material, which means you can attach like one of your opponent's monsters to it, and then you can rank it up into the Chaos Xyz, Chaos Xyz National, I think it's called.
This one. Yes.
Yeah, and then that one has an effect where you can detach a material from it. It's usually going to be the regular National that you detach, and then you can overlay a 101 to 107 monster. So the cards that I play this package with is the 104, I think, the
Is
one
it
that Rizio plays.
this one, the
Yeah,
Masquerade and the Horror Masquerade?
yeah, those ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like initially, you will use your effect of Nash Knight to attach Masquerade, and then Chaos Xyz Nash Knight will detach one to overlay the Masquerade on top, the Chaos Masquerade or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
And that card is insane, right? So, if your opponent activates a monster effect in the field, you can negate the effect, then make your opponent discard one, and then half your opponent's life points. It's
So
crazy.
so this I believe has a lot of synergy with the burger as well.
Yeah. So, if you half your opponent's life points, obviously putting them to 4,000, it really like helps you close games with Burger because or Borger because he burns for 1,500 every turn. So obviously there's also the trap as well, which burns you for 1,800. So realistically, if you get this burn off and then a couple of Borger burns off of the trap, your opponent's dead and you don't even really need to inflict any battle damage to them. That
So
comes up.
it's like an alternative win condition for the deck.
Yeah. Really, like at the moment, it doesn't come up as much as you might think because you really want to keep your Vanquish Souls on board so they can keep providing you with that constant resource generation.
Mm.
But post K9, I imagine we'll have a lot more level 5s to play with, and then we can get into some really nasty stuff.
And
Um,
we've got two more slots. Anything you play? Anything you recommend? Or is it just like
so at the moment, I'm playing Zeus and I'm playing Typhon.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. But they like you can switch maybe Zeus out if you want to. Typhon I'd keep in because I just think I'm not one of the believers that say when you summon Typhon you lose the game because like this deck plays on both players' turns. You're never making Typhon in a situation where you know you can do you can't play on your opponent's turn or you might only be making Typhon because it's like the only thing you can do in a grand game. I think having Typhon in the deck comes up more than it hinders you.
Okay, and now for the anything, I know the side deck is a player preference, but anything you believe
Mhm.
that should be in the side deck.
Not for Vanquish Soul specifically, but Lancia, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Then I would say another card that I do believe to be mandatory in this side deck for Vanquish Soul specifically is Phantasme. Now, Phantasme is really good. He has so many things. There's so many things about Phantasme that just make him perfect for the deck. First of all, he's a dark. Second of all, he's a dragon, so he's fetchable off Magnum. Third of all, he's really good into the mirror and any link deck, letting you draw two cards and put one card back if your opponent has one link, summons a link monster with only one link monster on the board. It's really good because you get to. One of the things with Vanquish Soul is you want to have the right attributes in hand at all time. Maybe you have like two of one attribute that you don't really need, so you draw two with Phantasme. Maybe you draw two good cards that you need, and then you put one card back, which is really helpful. So yeah, Phantasme 100%. I would play.
do you play the one-off shifter to sack your opponent?
Yes, I do play one of Shifter. Yes, that is one of the cards.
What else do you play? Anything else?
So this isn't really a Vanquish Soul thing, but I think you should be playing Perulia and maybe Meows in the side deck. I currently play two of each. I would play three Perulia, but I think having 9 cards in your main deck that are monsters but not correct attributes is a bit too much. Meows is good for obviously Malice and stuff. So I play two of each at the moment, but that could change.
Okay, and anything else in the side deck? Any solemns? Anything you play?
So yes, we play Solemns, but I'll get onto that in a minute. There was a joke back in the day about there can be only one being the Vanquish Soul boss monster. That still hasn't changed, to be honest. You can the one Vanquish Soul, sorry, the one there can be only one is still crazy when you see it. And you know, if you have Prosp and you Prosp into it, it's really fun. Uh, so yeah, I definitely play that card. And then the last card I play is it could be either 3 Judgment or 3 Strike. Currently I'm on 3 Strike, but I can see the argument for either,
Right. Okay. Okay.
and that's the deck.
So that's your deck. We've got a boss monster here, Tikaboo.
Yeah,
We should put them in the main, like low key.
yeah, maybe. I mean, you could take out maybe the callback for it or something.
The
Um,
so this is your deck. I want to see some test hands and see how you play your deck, and I want to see your thought process behind some hands. Do you want to go to play some test hands?
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So here we have a test hand and initial thoughts, Wakas. Is this a good hand or a bad hand?
This hand is crazy. First or second, it's pretty good. Yeah. So are we
So
going first or are we going second here?
so we always go first because going second we're winning anyways. We have Holy Sue.
Yeah, yeah, true. It's not a
So
hand, so we're not winning, but
but the fool will draw into it. Trust me, we'll draw
yeah,
into it.
okay, fair, fair.
But now that
Okay,
we've got Stake Your Soul and we've got Raisin. Stake Your Soul could summon Dr. Madlove and you can just normal summon Raisin. What would you do? Tell me, what would you do?
in this situation, I would activate Stake Your Soul first because I want to get into the field spell uh, before I get told. So I would activate Stake Your Soul and reveal whichever one I think is the least amount of information to my opponent. So I would have to reveal a dark. It would be either Crow or Magnuma. I would be tempted to reveal Magnuma because it is more restrictive in what it can do. Droll can banish anything, so I just reveal Magnum up for the Stake Your Soul. And assuming I don't get Ash here, I'll summon the Madlove. Okay, cool. So that comes back to hand. And then we declare the Madlove effect on summon. And that adds a star.
So even if we get drolled here, we can still technically get the trap in rotation by just normal
Yes,
summoning
because
Raisin.
all we have to do is normal summon Raisin, and then we can pass to get
Okay.
the trap in rotation if that's what we want. But let's say we don't get drolled. Say it's going our way. So we could activate the field spell, and then we could activate the field spell targeting Madlove. Yep, go ahead. Because we don't need to reveal to them we've got Raisin right now. They know we've got the field spell. They know we've got Madlove. So we can just use those cards. We can target Madlove with Start to add a non-dark In this case, I would add Holy Sue. So I really want to get her into rotation.
So does so obviously we've got a Vanquish Soul in hand, but does the target
Yeah.
ever change if you wouldn't have this hand? Would we ever add any other card except for Holy Sue?
Well, say if we start with Stake Your Soul Magnum like we had, right? And we had three Charmies in hand.
Mhm.
We will go activate Stake Your Soul, reveal the Magnum, summon the Madlove like we did, get the start. Then activate the start, target the Madlove, and then we need to get into Raisin. We want Raisin because Raisin can then search the Holy Sue, right?
Hmm.
Because you know if you don't get drolled on the Madlove, that tells you you should be fine, right?
Okay.
Which means there's no harm in getting Raisin, getting another monster into rotation, and then adding Holy Sue. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes. So
Okay.
so what do we do here now? We've added Holy Sue.
So at this point, yeah, at this point we can special the Holy Sue if we wanted, or we could normal summon the Raisin.
What would you do?
Um, so either way, they're going to know we have Raisin in hand because Holy Sue has to reveal another Vanquish Soul.
Mhm.
So what I would actually do here is I would normal the Raisin instead.
Okay.
So I would declare his effect. So now I'm declaring his effect to search, so I can add any non-warrior Vanquish Soul, which is basically anything except himself. But I need to look at my hand when I'm doing this, right?
Mhm.
So I've got two darks at the moment. I've got an Earth, and then I've got a blank, right?
Okay.
So what does that tell you? What does, like, if you had to answer this question, what would you say?
So if I've got two darks and an earth, I would add a fire just to get all attributes in
Yes,
the hand.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you only have one other fire because Raisin cannot add another Raisin, so you add Jalan.
So we're adding Jiaolong. Okay.
Okay. So at this point, we're probably going to do a link summon. And we have two options. Obviously, we could use Model or we could use Raisin. Um, so usually I would be using Raisin so that I could put Raisin in the graveyard, add it back with Rock. Um, but in this case, because we use Stake Your Soul to summon Madlove, we've got to remember that that card returns to our hand in the end phase because of Stake Your Soul, if it stays on the field. Um, Now, that being said, I think I will still use Raisin as link material here because if you put Madlove in the grave, they have an opportunity to bestial you, which you don't really want. So I would link using Raisin, and then I would ask my opponent if the summon's okay, if they have anything here. If they say no, then we go Rock Effect to add Raisin. Sometimes your opponent might imperm the Rock, which is funny, but it's a quick effect. So if they have anything in response to the summon, you can just chain and kind of take your opponent visit like waste their interaction. So yeah, so we go rock effect add back. So at this point we are at three summons.
Yes.
Now this deck, most of the time, on your turn, you only want to summon four times.
Okay.
Because you do not want to even entertain the nib. Because if you get nibbed, it can be really bad.
Hmm.
So our last summon is going to be Holy Sue. So we can go Holy Sue, reveal the race, and we just add it back. Yep, special summon. And that's all we're doing for the main phase. So now we ask our opponent, we're going to leave the main phase. If that's okay, we go to the end phase.
Okay.
Now, in the end phase, as you know, Taken Soul returns Madlove, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the start of the end phase. So you can first use the effect of start because you have two Vanquish Souls on your field to set the trap from deck. Yep.
Mhm.
Now, you can return a Madlove to hand, but you don't have to pass turn here. The effect of most Fun Crystals on the field is a quick effect. So you
Mhm.
can now use the effect of Holy Suit to summon from deck. And because you're no longer in the main phase, Nib cannot activate here.
So
So
what
you
would
will
you?
reveal the Mavlov
Okay.
and the Raisin. And you can summon not Caesar, sorry, a Heavy Bolger. Yep. And because Heavy Bolger's effect is also a quick effect, you can choose here to either burn or draw. Usually I would draw, so. Although we're going to have to discard for hand size, we have a Charmy, so it doesn't matter. We just discard the Charmy. So we draw a card, discard the Charmy for hand size, and pass turn.
Then we pass in here, and then back in the opponent's draw phase, we've got another burger to draw another card.
Yep. So the thing with you need to remember with Borger, I like Vanquish Soul in general, is that people have limited memory, right? So the best way to play Vanquish Soul is show your opponent the least amount of cards possible to do your stuff. So the
Hmm.
last Dark that we showed them was a Mad Love. So we
Yes.
showed them Mad Love. We showed them Magnum at the start of our turn. They might have
Hmm.
forgotten that by now. We don't need to remind them. We just
Hmm.
show them the Mad Love, then we draw a card.
Hmm. I see. I see.
So now we have 7 cards in hand. And the interruptions we have are we have Rock Effect to summon from hand. We summon a Raisin, which will pop. That will also search Caesar Valius, which will pop. We have the Trap, which will pop everything. We have a Holy Sue, which will steal, or can summon Madlove from the deck, and Madlove can bounce. So we have a lot of very layered interaction here. Not to
Hmm.
mention the 2 hand traps, 3 hand traps. Oh, sorry, we only have two. 2 hand traps in hand. So
Hmm. And
that's pretty
we've
much
got.
it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. No, I see. So that's the deck. That's the test hand. And the most of the combos usually end like this. They end on two bodies with a rock and a trap and a field spell.
Yes, pretty much. And usually six cards in your hand, going into your opponent's turn, and then you draw in your opponent's draw phase for 7.
Hmm.
It's
So
usually how it is.
and the draw, if I'm gonna be honest, is quite annoying. So I can when I play, I feel bad for my opponent having a free pot of greed.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Ah.
mean, like there was a joke. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Joshua Schmidt actually back before when he was playing Vanquish Soul in Master Duel, which was like they might have 6 cards in hand, but they're all Vanquish Soul cards. But at this point, like the Vanquish Soul cards actually do a lot because we have obviously like Holy Soon stuff, and not to mention if you noticed in my deck list, I'm playing 16 non-engine, 16 or 17 non-engine. So we've got Ash Blossom, Bell, we've got Crow, we've got Bestials, all of these things, you might think like, these are small interruptions. We also got draw. So once we have our 7 cards in hand, as soon as your opponent starts playing, you can draw them, and that's pretty much GG at that point.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the whole deck is about small interruptions on tempo. You want to
So
grind your opponent into losing all of their resources once you have all of yours.
how would you sequence this hand? So you've got Burger. So
Hmm.
how would you use your effects first? So let's say you're playing Malice and
Yes.
they've just summoned Dormouse here. Ideally, a good opponent will summon it at the rock position. A good opponent.
I would actually argue otherwise. I would say the good opponent would summon it in one of the used main monster zones because they know that I have Raisin. I
Hmm.
can't summon Raisin into the Holy Suit or the Borger column because those monster zones are currently occupied. The only way I could do that is if I had a Caesar in hand, or I
Hmm.
guess if I had a Borger in hand to bounce the Holy Suit, if I had a Caesar in hand to bounce either of them. So yeah, let's say the opponent is good, right? So the normal Dormouse into the Borger column,
Hmm.
right? At this point, what I would do is I would use Holy to effect to steal. Because not only does that take their
No,
normal summon off of them,
we don't have an Earth.
oh, do we not?
No, no. So what would you do?
Okay, well then we would go Rock effect to summon from hand.
Okay.
So we summon the Raisin, and we specifically summon the Raisin into the opponent's extra monster zone column.
Okay.
Because that now threatens the column pop in the extra monster zone column. And that's the only one that they can summon to, because Rock is currently occupying the other one. So Raisin here will then attempt his effect, search for Caesar. And then on the resolution of the ad, we attempt wholly to effect revealing a Caesar and a Madlove, I think was the last thing we revealed in hand,
Yeah.
to steal their Domos.
So now we have taken the Dormouse. Okay.
Yes.
So let's say over here now they go March Hare.
Hmm.
What would you do?
So are they banishing White Rabbit?
No, they banishing like a malice name, and they've let's say they banished a name.
Yeah, so White Rabbit. Let's say
Yeah.
it's
Let's
White
say
Rabbit, so they've got Marcha effect, banish White Rabbit. At this point, I would say, um, yeah, we'll let that resolve. That's fine.
okay.
So they have White Rabbit, and then they go White Rabbit to set.
Set a trap.
Yep.
So what would you do
So
here?
on that step, we can chain. I'm not fully aware of like what the names of the malice traps do, but I know there's one that like banishes one,
to
to
add.
summon one from deck, right?
Oh, they don't play that anymore. They usually in this situation they'll play MTP.
Right. Okay.
MTP
That,
it banishes one for cost and it adds.
right. Well, that's fine because what we do here is we just activate our top card. We just reveal all three attributes,
Right, and we just
and then
go
we
over
just
the board.
yep.
Hmm.
So
I
what
s-
they're gonna add here that's gonna help them maybe
nothing,
I'm
because
not
they've
sure
already
because I'm not
used
actually
Marte.
genuinely I'm not a Malice player, so I wouldn't know what they would be adding here. So
No, but nothing will
yeah, so
help
rock
them.
with that.
Yeah. So right, okay. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yes.
Okay, so at this point we can also summon because the trap lets us summon. We can also summon a Madlove from our hand, which is another interruption. Because anything that they summon with under 1500 defense, we can use our Mad Love Cook effect, revealing I think a Dark and an Earth,
Hmm.
to return the monster with the lowest defense in the field back to the hand. So say if they have another summon of something under 15, yep, that goes. One thing to remember is actually, once you've used the Holy Stew effect, immediately after that, you need to tag it out with Caesar, because then Caesar can apply pressure of another non-targeting pop. So make sure we do that as well.
Right. Okay. Now I'm following. So now we can go Mad Love, and then when we can use Sue's when once we use Sue's effect, we can then go
Well, we've
Caesar.
already used. Have
Yeah.
we not
Yeah.
used two effects?
We have. But then we
Yeah,
should
because we
realistically,
sold that dormouse.
yeah, we should summon out Caesar Valius to then pop.
Yeah, that's then more pressure on other pop
I see.
that you know that they're facing.
So that's the test hand. Those are the interruptions. Let's go back to the deck and we can talk about the future of Vanquish Soul.
Yeah, sure.
So this is the Vanquish Soul deck for Duad.
hmm
In the next set, Justice Hunters, we're gonna get K9.
Yeah.
How will the deck change with K9?
So you know how Holy Suit is like completely cracked, right? Unless you play in
Yes.
your opponent's turn. We now have another Holy Suit. It's K9 Izuna. K9 Izuna is it's a hand trap, which says if your opponent activates I believe, a monster effect in the hand, in the
Yes.
turn, you can quick effect use this effect to summon it and then send a K9 from your deck to the graveyard. And that card is K9 Lupus. And K9 Lupus has a similar condition where if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand, which your opponent will have because that's why Lupus is in the graveyard, you can summon it from the hand or graveyard, and then you can immediately perform an Exceed summon. But I think it locks you out of light. Although this one actually might not lock you out of lights.
You can
No,
only no. I think it's the other one, but I know what you mean.
right. So at this point, you can make literally any rank five you like. A couple of good ones are the Nash Knight thing that I was on about before, because Nash Knight can then steal one monster your opponent controls and use as material. Um, you could make a card called, I believe it's Ripper, K9 Ripper, which is it's a negate for a effect in hand. So that can negate Nibiru, for example.
Hmm. So this deck, do you think this deck will get the most value out of the K9 cards?
So basically, any deck that can play level fives will get a lot of value after K9s. I think it's between this deck and maybe Christian, Cyber Dragon, I guess, if you can count that. But yeah, I would say this deck, because of how easy it is for you to summon level fives in your opponent's turn, because you can go Holy Suit to summon in your opponent's turn, and then if you reveal a card for a Vanquish effect, you can go also Effective Jarlon to summon. So that's two level five bodies you get in your opponent's turn, right? And then you can make Izuna is on your opponent's turn, Lupus is on your opponent's turn. So like the K9 VS deck plays a lot heavier into the whole turn zero element. There's two ways of playing the deck as far as I know. You can play the basic four card engine like I just mentioned, which is three Izuna and one Lupus. Or you can also play a heavier package. I think you play three Joko, one Lantern, one case of K9. You play like a bigger extra deck package. Uh, all of the K9s I think are either Dark or Earth. which perfect for the attributes. So yeah, I think maybe this deck is probably the best deck to play alongside the K9s. K9 itself is not like a deck that really works by itself. It's very small. It does need a supplementary engine to work with it. And I think probably Vanquish Soul is the best deck for it.
Fair enough, fair enough. So will we see you on K9 when it comes out?
Yeah, you will. Yeah, most likely.
And do you think it's gonna be the best deck next format? It is in the OCG.
I think it's slightly different because we have slightly different formats. I do think it will be probably the best deck. Um, we don't the main differences are that we don't have Max D, which is obviously game breaking in the OCG. The best that you could possibly ever think of playing. And then there's we have Mitsurugi as well. We also have a couple of other TCG exclusives. The meta game is slightly different, but I do think that Vanquish Soul K9, especially in the hands of a pilot who's experienced, can do really well. Um, I do think it's actually quite hard to counter. There are not very many counters to the deck. There's definitely nothing on the level of Lancia or anything like that that the deck loses to. So yeah, um, actually, well, saying that, actually, I've just remembered there is a new card revealed for Doom of Dimensions, which is a set after Duad, the next main set, which for some reason has printed a super poly target for the Vanquish Soul
Oh
deck.
yes,
It's
this.
like it takes a sidekick and the extra deck monster to just make, and then it's also Saravis when it's on board, it can negate the summon and destroy of any monster. So it's kind of crazy. Maybe we'll be
But but
playing three super poly in
but
the
but
main for
we'll
the mirror. The
we'll
mirror.
have we'll have our fun for at least one format.
Yeah, we'll have our fun. Hopefully for a few formats. There's an upcoming TCG ban list. We'll see how that affects.
Fair enough.
I don't expect anything from Banker Soul to get hit, especially not this soon. Maybe someday we'll see Staker Soul or Holy Sue or something like that go to one. But I'm hoping we have a lot of time ahead of us to play this deck because it's really fun, really interactive. The mirror match is crazy. Kind of reminds me of Tier a little bit. It's not full fat Tier, but it is pretty close. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
I see, I see. So that was Vanquish Soul. And would you
yeah,
like to? Obviously, I'd love to come again and just go over. So what I usually do is, if people want to come on, they can usually come and show their replays, and they can show the
yeah,
thought process behind their replays, and to see how they did and what they would have done differently, or what they would have not done differently. Do you want to come back and show us the deck again at some point?
yeah. Sure. I mean, ideally, I'll come back when I top a major event with this deck because I'm very confident in both my ability and the power of this deck. So maybe I'll come on with a regional winning or
With a
something like
regional
that.
win.
Definitely. Yeah,
if
yeah.
if if
That's the goal.
anybody
That's the goal.
if anybody's gonna win, it's gonna be you with this deck. That's for sure. That's what I know. If it's anybody, it's
Thanks,
gonna
man.
be you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I really enjoy the deck, and it motivates me a lot to play just because the play style of this deck is so different. It's something I
Yes,
really like.
and a lot of people will struggle, whereas like a person like you will strive in these kind of decks.
I mean, I think it's possible. I wouldn't say like anything like that, but it's definitely a deck with a learning curve. But I think if you're like just picking the deck up and you're interested in it, I wouldn't give up if you're like struggling. Just keep at it, and hopefully you enjoy the deck as much as I do. Because like one of the things I want I actually mentioned to a guy at locals, he had the Vanquish Soul deck and he unfortunately got rid of it because of the insane price of the cards at the moment. Sometimes it's better to just sell the cards and have a bit of money. But like the one thing I've always wanted is like more mirror matches because the mirror match is so insanely fun. It's really hard but really fun. So yeah, I hope as many people as possible pick the deck up, enjoy playing it as much as I do, and hopefully you all get a lot of success.
Fair enough, fair enough. Thank you so much for cars. If you've got any comments for cars, any suggestions, if you did anything wrong or right, I'm sure you did everything right. But anything, just put a comment down below, and I appreciate everybody. Catch you guys in a bit. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye guys.